Hello and welcome. Glad you guys can join me today. I am definitely excited. Of course, I am always motivated when to do these live videos. Um, basically, I call it like free consultation. If you was to go see a business consultant, most people would charge you by the hour to give you advice on just their experiences, and basically you're paying for somebody's experience, really. So, but anyways, I have a passion for what I do. I love it. I can do it with my eyes closed, shut, in my sleep. So I'm just here to kind of share my experience and things that I've encountered, or things if I encounter personally within my business or with clients. So my name is Patricia, and I'm with DPS Incorporated, and DPS does stand for Dallas Paralegal Solutions Incorporated. And yes, I am a paralegal by trade, and I've always had a passion for law school. So this is really just kind of giving a background of who I am and who we are and how I got started on my journey of being an entrepreneur and business owner. And basically, just growing up as a child, I always loved law, as you can see in my background. So I've always had a passion for law, and yes, I did want it to be a lawyer, but God knows best. Okay, and basically, what ended up happening is I went to high school. I graduated good. I got a nice scholarship. Went to college. One of the things that I don't recommend unless you have really considered all of, you know, just all of your options is I got married young. So I got married while in college, and during that time I also started a family. So it was very, 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 very difficult for me to actually pursue that law career, because you all know, as women, your family comes first, and then you get put on the back burner, and then all of your other obligations and responsibilities. And law was my passion, still is my passion. And so I sacrificed. That was one of the things that I gave up, all in the name of love and my children. So, but anyways, I never stopped. So I figured, I told myself, I was like, well, if I can't practice law, I just need to be around it. I needed to just indulge in it. So, and honestly, I was actually headed to law school. I'll tell you guys that story later. And then I kind of I said to myself, I said, well, let me go get my feet wet and see what it's all about, because I was just so gung-ho on going to law school. And I really, honest to God, at that time when you start having children and a husband and all the other stuff, you just don't want to waste your time. You're like, and plus it's $150,000 for even the smallest popular law school. So I was just like, let me check this out. So I end up running into an attorney. Actually, let me tell you the truth. My mom called me one day and she was like, hey, can you take me to my attorney's office? And I was like, you need to call one of my other sisters. But I just had this strong intuition to get up and go. So believe it or not, I went there. I had my two small daughters. They was just yay high. And I was there in a sundress, my hair up in a high bun, and some flip-flops. And me and this attorney, after he had this consultation with my mom, I was like, can I ask you a couple of questions? And I asked him some questions. And crazy thing is, I kept asking questions that engaged him so much, and he liked in my personality and different things like that. He was like, I need somebody like you. And I said, well, I'm thinking about going to law school. He was like, well, I'll tell you everything what you need to do. I'll help you pass the bar. I'll mentor you, blah, blah, blah. this, that, and the third. So I was thinking to myself, okay, you know, if somebody offered to take you up on it, then we can go. So I just decided, let's go. I started working at law office, loved every minute of it, and I would come in early, leave late, work from home. I would do all kind of stuff. I love it, love it, love it. My life took a turn, and what happened was I ended up, my husband and I at the time, my husband at that time, we end up deciding to have a son, and I had a son. I know y'all gonna be like, oh my God, how many children you got? So I had a son, and then I ended up having another son that just kind of slid in there. And this particular son, I can honestly thank for giving me that because I didn't have it. I'm gonna be honest. I always had the ability and the mindset to be successful. I just never felt like I needed to start a business. I was like, I don't need to start a business. Like, corporate America was very appealing to me, but I think that's to most people when really, if they understood the benefits of working hard for yourself and the payoff, I think a lot of people would reconsider, and, become business owners, honestly. So, had a son. The son was born with a disability, and therefore, sometimes his doctor's appointments I had 2, maybe 3 doctor's appointments a week. He didn't start walking until after his 3rd birthday. He was like 3 years old. His feet was born like bent backwards, some weird thing, and they call it club feet, but to me it was like, oh my God. So yeah, and I could not possibly go back to work there. How? It's just law offices don't work like that. They need you there. Things are time sensitive, so I had to be replaced, and I had to resign. And I cried. When I say I cried horribly. But like I tell anybody, you take lemon, you make lemonade out of it. Don't sit there and just get frustrated. And sometimes life will make you feel like that, but you don't have to. So I had little part-time side jobs and doing little work from home jobs, and it never made me happy. And the only thing that really made me happy was being in law. And one day, I was sitting at home for maybe 4 months after I had him. And because I had worked with so many attorneys and worked in the law office, a lot of people within my personal family and friends would call me and say, oh, I need that. Can you refer me to this person? Can you refer me to that person? I need help with this. Or can you read this contract for me? I don't know what it says. And, and that's how my business started. And then one day somebody said, you give some good advice and blah, 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 blah. You know so much and you don't mind researching. You should sell it. I say, sell what? I'm not doing that. Nobody not going to buy that. That is so stupid. And that's what I said to myself. And then my ex-husband said the same thing. He was like, Patricia, you're like awesome. You're a bulldog at what you do. When you find out stuff, you go full force. You're informative. People will listen to you. Put it out there. Like, you should do this. And I just was like, oh, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And lo and behold, I was like, I got tired of people calling me, and I wasn't getting paid for it. And I was doing a lot of free stuff. And I was like, how can I monetize off of this? Like, how can I make money? How can I make this work for me? So I started out as a paralegal, And that's why my company is called Dallas Paralegal Solutions Incorporated. And no, I'm not going to change my name because I love my name. And that's why I'm able to tell you a lot of things when it comes to branding, to really think about, your name before you just go out there and buy it. Because, like, once you're out there, you're out there. And so you can't just pull it back. It costs you money. So I end up um, just doing, helping people with stuff like, reviewing contracts with people. A lot of people get into contracts and attorneys charge fair prices, but a lot of people say, oh, attorneys is so expensive, and I'm not taking up for attorneys, but in the legal world, it is expensive. You file anything in court, it costs money. You need a mediation, you got to pay people to come and show up. If you need the meeting to be recorded, and it's called a deposition, and then you need a typist, a stenotypist to type it up, that costs money. And I'm not talking about $25 and $15 for a fee. I'm talking about hundreds of dollars. So attorneys ask their fees, and a lot of people think, once you become a paralegal, let me go to a paralegal so they can help me. No. Paralegals do not practice law at all. We're not licensed. Some of us are certified by our state, and therefore can assist with your state forms. So forms that are already out there that is released by your state or the government, and they just fillable forms, we can assist with those. If you need somebody to explain a contract because you don't understand it, we understand legal jargon. So that was a way for me to make money. So I was like, I slapped a fee on that slap and started getting paid. Most people don't know how to do certain things. One of the benefits of being a paralegal is we did a lot of reading and a lot of research. You have to be like the bomb, and I know that's so old, but you have to be awesome at research. So that's the advantage. So I took my skills that I had, and I said, well, let me monetize. It's people out there that like freaks out if they see too many legal words that they don't understand instead of pulling out a dictionary. So, and I'm not encouraging them to pull out a dictionary. I'm saying, come to me, I'll read it for you. So, yeah, and that's kind of how my business got started. So if you want, that is my story, and I'm putting it out there, and I just want to share it to the world. And that's how, and then to give you an extension of how I'm able to help people start businesses or consulting and bookkeeping and bookwork is because guess what? My bachelor's degree is in business finance with a minor in marketing. So I've worked with several corporate America companies in times past in the banking industry. And one of the things that they require you to do is constantly stay up on your continual education courses, which I've just completed some this year with taxations, audits, and accounting, and and just different things like that. So that was just part of what I did and what I do for my clients. I've ran successful companies in the past. I've managed multi-million-dollar companies and law firms. Let's see here. Restaurants, trucking companies, successful trucking companies. A lot of my clients are truck drivers. I have musicians for clients. I have restaurant owners. I have gym owners. I have insurance agents or agencies, or just a whole line of people. And a lot of times I've been knowing these people for years. I've worked for them in the past, and they, I'm gonna say this, if I can give any advice, For those people who want to start a business, if you ever burnt any bridges in the past or quit jobs and did crazy stuff, I would go back and try to clean some of that stuff up if you can, because I have found some of my most successful resources and referrals have came from people that I have worked for when I was younger, and or I've done internships with, went to church with, all kind of stuff like that. So it's good to do treat people right and do right by people. I'm just saying, because I mean, if you ever start a business for yourself, those are people that'll send people to you. I'm talking about send clients to you. So, but anyways, so this video today was kind of just giving my story, introducing myself to the world, and kind of giving the storyline of how, DPS Incorporated started and how it was born. And so to kind of also the highlight, the do's or don'ts. So if you ask me, well, do you do majority paralegal stuff? No, not really, because paralegal work has to be overseen by a licensed practitioner, which is an attorney. So a lot of times I use that as just to show my level of expertise, and also just having those connections. A lot of times my clients come to me if it's something that, hey, I can't do, I just pick up a phone call, and I know some awesome attorneys in the area, and I try to network and keep good contacts with people and, send them on. And a lot of times, attorneys in return send me work, or they'll say, Patricia, can you do such and such for me and pay me just a little chunk? And that's kind of how, how I build my business as well for the paralegal side. But the stuff that I do that does not involve the law, that's just reviewing contracts for people, explaining different things, document preparation. If you already have your stuff prepared but you don't know the format and you representing yourself pro se, then I can type it up for you and send it over. But the rest of it is research. My strong suit is research, helping people get the information that they need so they can be successful, starting their business, also, and just helping them with their finances, especially starting a business. It's important to know taxes, laws when it comes to that money, because at the end of the day, you can have a successful business. And I don't like to say names, but I had to remind one of my clients, like, listen, you awesome now, but don't do like some of these successful celebrities, like Wesley Snipes. Like, this man is awesome, talented, but you can't keep just like ignoring the fact that you got to handle your money. You got to make sure your stuff is all together. And so that's my strong suit. I've managed several multi-million companies, and as far as finances and money management and organization, and making sure you're keeping up with stuff and what you should do and how you should file it and what you should keep, what you should throw away, and different things like that. And that is how we got started. So I started out remotely from my home, and then after that I got an office, and then I started hiring people and just growing. So again, just taking the time out to just enlighten, share, and let you guys know. So drop your comments, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, suggestions, or something you always want to know about, I would love to reach out and discuss it and talk with you guys. So thank you again for joining me. You guys have an awesome day, and remember, you can do anything as long as you put your mind to it. If you believe it, you can do it. All right, bye.